Hello, welcome back to the Mickle Art YouTube channel thing. Today I've done something oh so fun and fresh. I've whipped up some delicious little character designs for you, and I've based them on elements, as in the ones from the periodic table that you memorized in high school. So we'll just jump into it. Right from the get-go. The first element that I have chosen to personify is helium, and I knew when I started this project that I wanted to include a noble gas. When I started the project, I was looking for things that had characteristics that I could sort of turn into like human characteristics. So when I was thinking of elements, I knew that I wanted to include a noble gas because I could turn it into like a standoffish loner character type vibe. So that's the one we're starting with, and I don't know how well that comes across, but I did my best. So I did a couple things to try and communicate his personality. I gave him some kind of closed off body language, and I slumped his shoulders, and I put his hands in his pockets, which was also very nice for me because I didn't have to draw his hands, and that's always a treat. I gave him some headphones. I wear headphones at my work because I don't want anyone to talk to me. And then I gave him a balloon. Is there a narrative reason for this? Not really. Maybe he's lonely on his birthday. How sad. But I gave him the balloon because helium has such a close tie-in with balloons because it's what we put in them to make them float. Unless you're one of those losers who had like regular air balloons that just sat on the ground. But, well, can't really knock those though because you get to bop them around and keep them off the floor and stuff. Regardless, helium is very closely intertwined with balloons. So I had to make this character sad and lonely on his birthday so he could have a balloon. And then when it came to coloring him, I tried to incorporate a lot of blue. Helium doesn't have a color. It's transparent and odorless and a gas or whatever. A noble gas, in fact. The reason I chose a noble gas was because noble gases don't bond with other elements. So in a world where the elements are characters, he wouldn't bond with the other characters. That's why he's a 2006 Hot Topic loner guy. But I incorporated a lot of blue because that's kind of just like what we think of when we think of the colorless gases like oxygen and stuff. Probably just because that's the color of our atmosphere, but I worked in a lot of blue, and also it kind of works toward his, like, sad boy, lonely boy type vibe. Like, if I had him decked out all in yellow and orange, I don't think that would have communicated his vibe as well. And that's, when it comes down to it, isn't character design just communicating a vibe? So, yeah. I added some more details to the shoes there, just because I'm getting real tired of all the shoes I draw just being like foot blob shaped lumps. So I'm trying a little harder in that area, and it is paying dividends, my guy. Even the tiniest bit of detail goes so far. And then here I added some stitching and stuff to his pants, so it looked like he was wearing like those dark colored skinny jeans or whatever was popular in 2007. I should have given him like a fringe or whatever, but well, the hairstyle I've given him is close enough, I think. But I added the shading, and you know what? This drawing actually went really, really fast, especially for a digital painting. It's debatable whether my style could be called digital painting or what exactly it should be, but I'm calling it digital painting for the purposes of this video. Yeah, this drawing went remarkably fast. In fact, all of the elements did, which was very pleasing to me. Just, I wanted to get back into doing this type of lineless, paint-ish type drawing, because I hadn't had a lot of opportunities to do it before, and the drawings that I did for the other videos on this channel were all not painterlish. So I was very happy to have the opportunity to do this again. I took a little pause there. I don't know what I was doing, but at this point I'm kind of just finishing up the last little details I got in the shading on the hair. I waited. I just kind of drew all over our left eyebrow, because I knew it would be easier to draw that in later. And then I go fix the eyebrow. And then I think the last thing that I had to do was, I tried to shade the balloon string, but it didn't really work. The last thing I had to do was make the balloon nice and reflective. And then I added a little shadow, and it's time to kind of slap a background on it. I also gave myself the wonderful little treat of not having to draw detailed backgrounds and kind of just putting some text in there. I tried to make it look like the little block that it represents on the periodic table, which I think makes for a good background. And there's the finished piece. And I kind of like how these characters came out. It's definitely at the very least, it's definitely a really good reintroduction to drawing like this for myself. It's been mere moments for you, but nearly an hour has passed in real time between this and the last drawing. Anyway, the next element that I have decided to characterize is fluorine. And just a fun fact, fluorine is actually my favorite element due to the fact that it is contrary to hydrogen. Nope, not hydrogen. Contrary to helium, fluorine is the most reactive element out of all of them, which is the trait that I kind of focused on to craft her sort of personality and character design. I think, fluorine is the most reactive element, so we will turn fluorine into a character who is very overreactive or easily startled or, just reacts to things in a very big way. I could have also used the same logic that I used for Helium and made her more like someone who's really a social butterfly and everything, but I kind of went with this one because I thought it offered a little more personality. I'm really quite proud of my pose here. It's one that kind of gave me a little bit of challenge at the beginning, so I had to draw a little mannequin, if you saw that. And of course the proportions on that mannequin were kind of whack, but her proportions overall, they're just whack, and there was nothing I could do about it. But I think it came out okay in the end anyway. But yeah, I made her just getting scared by this little mouse, which, you don't want to find mice in your home, but you could say that this is a reaction, which is what fluorine is supposed to be doing, so. And then when I was coloring, I tried to work in a lot of yellow and orange into her design because, well, fluorine also mostly exists as a gas. It, when you cool it down really, really, really a lot, you can get it to become a liquid, and in that liquid form, it is yellowish. I was looking at a picture of it on Wikipedia, and it was honestly kind of like a really nasty yellow, and I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to do that, but I will work in some yellow into the actual character design. But yeah, after I got over the rough patch of getting the pose out, this one came out pretty smoothly. I originally had her wearing sandals, and I turned those into real shoes just because I didn't want to draw feet. I was like, oh man, I was really tired the day that I finished this. I did kind of rush it a little. I think it's the weakest one out of the three, but honestly, I thought it was going to turn out a lot worse than it did, so I'm pretty satisfied with the end result. But I just didn't want to draw feet that day. I just didn't have it in me. So I turned them into shoes. I don't know when I get around to doing the detailing on them, but I do those shoes in pretty much the same way that I drew Helium's shoes. I just started out with a block and then added a little bit of detail. I don't know if I added I added a sole, so maybe they kind of look more like boots, but like whatever. How much of a difference does it really make, you know? And then it was just a matter of going through and finishing things up. I wonder why I paused there. I wonder what I was doing. I was probably, what was I doing? I was probably on my phone or something. Anyway, whatever I did, I must have stopped and gotten back to drawing, but then it was, yeah, I just finished up the hair, and I believe I started on the shirt. Curiously, the shirt was like the last thing to do on this one. And it's not normally the last thing I do, but for this one it was. Then, yeah, it was just a matter of getting in all of these little details. One thing that I did slip up on is that I didn't add any reflected light really on any of these characters, which was a real shame because that is something that really makes like this digital paint-y-ish style. It really makes those kinds of drawings pop. So I was originally intending to add some complementary color, like reflected highlights, and I don't know, I just forgot to do it. But as I said, I was dog tired when I was making this, so I think letting that detail slip didn't really hurt it that much in the long run. On Helium, I said it went remarkably fast. This one also went remarkably fast. Just, I don't know, I think I kept them relatively simple, so that is probably a contributor. There wasn't a whole lot of different layers of the clothing or things to shade or stitches to draw. And then here I'm just gonna slap the background on. I added a little shadow for the mouse. And yeah, that after that it was just easy going. I did fiddle with the background color quite a bit because I had a really tough time trying to get her to stand out from the background just because the colors meshed so much. But so I did add a white border around her, and then I changed it to orange, and that is the final drawing of Fluorine, the most reactive element. And then last, but certainly not least, we have Silver. Now, Silver also has some special qualities that made it ideal for turning it into a character design, and that is that Silver is the most conductive element, both of electricity and heat, and it is also the most reflective element. So, I was thinking, it conducts really well with electricity and heat and stuff, so I decided to give him someone who has an electric personality and gets along with other people really well, and sort of make him the antithesis to Helium. I don't know how reactive Silver is, but I know it does react, so there is that. I tried to kind of make him look like an entrepreneur or like a popular fun guy, so I gave him like a blazer and a t-shirt with jeans, because that's like, I don't know exactly what that communicates, but that's kind of like the Steve Jobs type vibe, I guess. And say what you will about Apple, it's it's not my favorite company in the world, but at least Steve Jobs was charismatic. So, and then also when I was coloring, I tried to work in a lot of silver into his design, obviously. And the thing is that it was a little bit difficult to. Oh, and I struggled with this mouth forever. I was like, I want to give him a big, contagious smile. And I wanted to have both rows of teeth showing at first, but I settled on just having an open-mouthed one and the top row visible. That just like, it was just better. The gritted teeth was just a little bit too freakish, so it was a little bit difficult to work this silver into his design. Oh, here I paused again. I wonder what I was doing. Because it's so similar to the blue that was in Helium's design, so Fluorine kind of ended up standing out from the group for being the only character with like a lot of warm colors, but for a group of 3, I'm kind of okay with that. Silver also went remarkably fast. He was actually the fastest one that I finished, and I also think he's the best one. I just like a lot of his qualities. I think I painted him well, and I like his pose and stuff. Speaking of the pose, I did kind of struggle with it in the beginning, but I really like where it ended up. Because he has an electric personality and he's supposed to get it along with everyone really well and stuff, I tried to give him this really like wide open friendly body language. That's also the reason he's smiling. It's because he's supposed to look welcoming. So the thing that I was kind of going for was him like seeing his buddy and going in for like a high five into hug combo. I don't know how well that tracks, but now you know. Now when you see this pose, you'll know that's what he's gonna do. I also considered adding to this Silver's sort of relationship with Gold. Because when you think about silver and gold, silver is sort of like the Luigi, but that's not something that I ended up working in really, because I didn't really know how to communicate that without having to include gold in the picture somehow, and I wanted to stick to 3 characters, so I kind of ditched that idea, but it would be something cool to work in if I return to elements in the future. I would definitely do gold as like Silver's more successful brother or something, you know? I also kept, it's weird for me to keep calling him Silver because Silver is also one of the rivals in Pokemon. And I'm like, oh, it's from Pokemon Gold and Silver. But yeah, he finished up really easy. This one just came out. It came out so good. It was so fast. I was just in the zone when I was drawing Silver, and I think that's why he was my favorite one. So I just slapped a background on it, the same kind that I have been doing. Somehow I feel like this background fits better too. I don't know how. Maybe I made the text bigger or something, but this one just fits, and I love it. Silver is my favorite one. And then here they are, all together. They kind of make for an interesting group, to say the least, but I kind of like them. I'm pretty satisfied with how this project went, especially as far as returning me to digital paint has gone. And then for the background, I used the picture of the chemistry textbook that I had in high school because I didn't want to draw a real background. And you know, who does? I can cheat at least that much, you know. But yeah, this project was really fun and it came out quite well, so I'm looking forward to doing another one in the future. And if you enjoyed watching this video, do feel free to like it and to subscribe and to comment And definitely share it with all of your friends and family. Share it with your grandma and your dog and your dog's dog. And I will see you next time.